Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movies Actually, where we give an honest review to the movies that we've meddled with so mischievously over at Maybe Movies. And this time, we're talking about Robocop, the 1988 Paul Verhoven film starring Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Miguel Ferrer, Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox.
Oh, damn it.
And also featuring Kurtwood Smith. And also, for those of you who are fans of Twin Peaks, will recognise a young Ray Wise as, I was going to say Leland Palmer. That's Twin Peaks.
So we got there in the end, somewhere between us.
We did.
It's the tale of a near-future Detroit where corporations have taken over the running of the police force and plan on building their own version of the modern policeman, the Robocop. And for those of you who haven't seen the movie, I think we'll leave it there. That's a pretty simple synopsis.
That's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, as we said, directed by Paul Verhoeven in his second film, I believe.
Was it his second? I always thought it was his first one.
Well, from what I can gather, he'd done a film previously for Orion called Flesh and Blood, which is a kind of medieval/fantasy medieval thing.
Oh, okay.
I must admit, I've never even heard of it. I don't remember it at the time.
No.
But it bombed quite badly.
Oh, dear.
But, as Verhoeven tends to do, he brings, being Dutch, he brings a kind of a European perspective to this kind of near-future corporate America.
He's got this way of taking everything that's foreign to him and dialing it up to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the way to the top. You know, so he just took this strange American culture and everything about it. Cars, guns, girls, boobs, money, drugs, all the rest. Just up to 15. All of it. To the top. It's a very unique take on the world. Definitely.
But also, you know, when you do watch it, if you've never seen this, but you've seen Starship Troopers, there's a lot of the same kind of ideology there, isn't there? Or approach to a view of it.
Robocop, Starship Troopers, and Total Recall are like his trilogy, his American trilogy.
Yeah, I forgot about
And they're all uber violent. Everything's dialed up to 15. Everything's over the top. This was the first of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that started it all. And you know what? I'd buy that for $1.
I found out a thing about that. Apparently that was inspired by Benny Hill. That's what they were going for with that character.
I did catch on that he was kind of smoozy.
Yeah.
Creepy, a little bit, yeah.
I'm trying to think when, so this would have been 88, so I would have been 14. I think I saw this maybe a year or so later. I'm sure it was around my friend Paul's.
Oh no, I didn't see it at the movies, but I remember it coming out and I was, we've got to go and see this. As soon as it came out at the video store, it was, you had to hire this.
I'm pretty sure I was around my mate Paul Strages, he's an old friend of mine from school, and he'd hired it out, and we watched it, and it's just like, I think he kind of slightly fell in love with it.
Well, there's a lot to love about it. One of the things about it, of course, was that as soon as you watched it, your parents immediately realised that they had hired the wrong movie. You know, it was just a little bit too much for them. And the enjoyment of watching a movie that your parents had bought or hired, that was just not what they thought it was.
When you kind of glance across at them and you just see them looking slightly uncomfortable.
They're trying desperately not to look horrified because they don't want to give it away.
Yeah. But he seems to be enjoying it. Is that a good thing? I don't know. But he's happy. He's quiet.
And yeah, just so much excess. Everything is dialed up. I mean, the violence, the explosions, even a dude getting dosed with a bit of toxic waste just gets dialed up to its fullest potential to you.
That's apparently, again, from working with Verhoeven, he was such a perfectionist, he managed to piss off most of the crew and quite a few of the cast. So the gas station explosion, they kind of went, okay, well, let's give him something extra, and they packed the explosives for that explosion. Blew out windows 2 blocks away.
Ooh, oopsie. Revenge, but possibly at a cost.
Yeah.
I can see that, though. I mean, because so many of those shots and so many of the special effects, because there are so many special effects in camera in this movie, they must have taken forever to set up and then reset and then reset and then reset. And
Especially
once you get to 15 or 20 takes, you're probably driving each other nuts.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at the crew that he had Rob Bottin doing the special effects.
He's a good guy. He does his stuff.
And Phil Tippett as well did a lot of the stuff for Red 209.
Ah, of course, right. Yes, that's where I know the name. Yes,
that's why it looks slightly like Hoth, because he did all the AT-ATs for Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, it does have that sort of slight effect. Yeah,
but yes, it is an incredible film. It did go on to spawn a number of sequels. Well, obviously, as with a lot of those things in the 80s and early 90s, with diminishing returns, unfortunately.
Of course, that's the way with franchises, especially in the 80s. Diminishing returns was a thing.
Yes, I mean, number 2 has its moments. Number 2, there's a few bits that...
They hadn't completely nerfed him by then.
No, number 3 was terrible.
Oh, he was so nerfed. He was basically a kid's show.
Yeah.
But they were trying to sell it as a proper, Robocop sequel. No.
Of course, if you do go and check this out, make sure you get a copy that has both the theatrical release and also the director's cut. There's next to nothing between the two of them. It's a matter of seconds. But apparently they had to cut a few seconds out because they were going to slap it with an X rating.
Yes, that doesn't surprise me.
And it was the
80s.
Just that little bit to take out to get the R rating so they could get the merchandising on it.
So what am I going to say about this movie? Now, I can't pretend that it changed my life because it didn't. But you know what? I had an immense amount of fun watching it back in the 80s, and every single time I slap it on since. It's really good fun. And if you're not too precious about your storytelling, there's a lot of fun to be had here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if this was made today, it would probably be two seasons of a 10-part show or something. Just to get to what this does in about an hour and 45 minutes.
It was made very recently again, and...
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Oh, God.
Just sucked everything that was unique or interesting about the premise right out of his butthole.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a real shame, because the cast weren't too bad. The guy who they got to play him, I can't remember his name.
Joel Edgerton, it's Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's him. A couple of years younger, but that's him, yeah.
Of course, it's because I first knew him because he had the lead in season 1 of... The name of the show's going to go right out of my head now.
Well, I can't help you. Never mind.
I'm sure someone somewhere within this room will fill in the my memory blank about sometime around now, or it'll come back to me right at the end, and I'll just blurt it out.
Of course.
But yes, I know from a Netflix show. But yes, you're right. Yeah, but it wasn't.
It wasn't good.
No. How can you mess this up? Especially as we're kind of living in the age that...
Well, I think the problem was that it was remade by Hollywood insiders.
Yes.
And of course the original movie was made by an outsider. It was an outsider's view of the American system and the American way. And if you don't have that outsider's view, you're going to lose something. You're always going to lose something from it.
As you always will do with remakes, but that's a story for another...
Yes.
A conversation.
We're not exactly reviewing the original movie when we talk about this.
No, not at all. But again, it went through a lot of iterations. Apparently, they wanted Michael Ironside.
Mm-hmm.
Was the original choice.
What, as Robocop?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been awesome!
But I don't know.
I mean, he's shorter, but he still would have been awesome.
Yeah, there was some reason why. I think he had some strange ideas that they weren't happy with about the character.
Oh, he wanted to make it his own?
Yeah.
Ah, right. Yes.
And then they looked at Arnie, because obviously Orion had done Terminator, so...
No, that would have not worked in the exact opposite way that Michael Ironside might have worked.
And apparently Peter Fonda turned up as well.
The things you learn afterwards.
But no, they went with Peter Weller because they were looking for somebody who was slim and had the right sort of jawline, and he was a marathon runner.
Oh, right. Why was being a marathon runner a thing?
Because they were worried about anyone too big it was going to cost too much for the costume.
So they wanted him to be slim.
They wanted him to be slim with natural body strength to be able to kind of wear all of that stuff.
Which is kind of funny because although Peter Weller, we've talked about this previously when we were talking about Die Hard and
this.
No, was it this?
Yeah.
Yes, it was this. Yes, about his friend. He's a very broad-shouldered man.
Yes.
But like you say, he's very slim the rest of his body's very slim, but he's very broad-shouldered.
Yes,
huge-shouldered almost.
Which had quite an important, played an important part in what we did with this in the thing itself.
When you first glance at him, because he's so wide across the shoulders, you don't think of him as being a small, slim man or being fast.
Mm.
But when you think about it, like when you think about his proper body shape, yeah, it's obvious. Yeah.
But no, I think the general upshot here is, if you've never seen Robocop, then really do go and check it out. Obviously, not really suitable for your younger kids. As I said, it was originally released as an R rated in the States. 18 over here.
Not for the kiddies, no.
It still is. I mean, even on here. Here you go.
Even though we were 14 or 15 when we saw it.
We don't worry about things like that.
It's not for you kids, but if you're looking for an outrageously fun time, this is a place to be having it.
If you look carefully, you could probably buy that for $1.
You probably could. Okay, so I think that means this is a thumbs up from both of us.
2 thumbs up here as well.
Go check it out. It's worth a watch at least once. You might not like it. It might be Marmite, but there's a lot to be found in there, and it ages better than a lot of 80s movies does. It does.
But then again, I think that a lot of that comes down to the special effects crew you had. You had the guy behind the effects for The Thing.
Yeah.
The guy from The Empire Strikes Back doing a lot, doing the stop motion,
And just 90% of it happening in camera, which means there's no digital aging to be had here. Or there's very little digital aging to be had here.
I think it goes without saying that practical effects for the win.
For the win. So go check it out, folks. If you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, what do you think of it? Do you enjoy it as much as we do? Do you think it's worth remembering as much as we do?
If you have got any kind of special memories about it, then please, stick them in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think and what you remember of seeing it for the first time. That'd be kind of cool.
But I think that's us done for now. So until next time, folks, take care of yourselves. And as always, TTFN.
And I would just like to say, in parting, that I was rooting for you, mate.
Huh?
See you next time.
What are you talking about?
I'd buy that for $1.